Hey Ramblers, this video focuses on overlapping triangles. It's not really anything to do with any new theorems or any new definitions, but it will discuss a technique, or it will introduce you to the technique of separating triangles in a diagram that might be overlapping. The advantage to doing that is sometimes there is a side or an angle that is shared by both triangles, thereby allowing you to prove the triangle's congruent and moving farther toward your conclusion. So hope this video helps and good luck. Okay, there are lots of different diagrams that can have overlapping triangles, and here I'm just showing you two of the more common ones. Let's first take a look at the left and look at triangles A, B, and D, which are overlapping triangles A, B, and C. Now let's take a look. Here's triangle ABC, and I can translate it down there. Triangle ABD is that triangle. So let's move that also. So you can see that the two triangles were overlapping and they share a common part. Can you see which side or angle is common to both? Okay, hopefully you recognize that in this diagram side AB is common to both triangle ABC and ABD. Alright, let's see what a proof might look like in a diagram like this. Okay, let's take a look at a proof. Suppose you were told that AD, this ray stretching from A to D, bisects angle CAB, and BC bisects angle DBA. Let's say you also knew that angle 1 was congruent to angle 2. Could you prove that these angles up here, angle C was congruent to angle D? Well, let's walk through it, and the key step is going to be separating the triangles. So let's see if we can do that first. I'm going to hide the proof for a minute and translate these again. And nope, it's not going to let me do that. Okay. The key here is that we're going to prove the blue triangle congruent to the pink triangle. So first we'll show that we'll go through our givens, but then we're going to show that by multiples, angle CAB, this large angle on the left, is congruent to angle DBA, the large angle on the right. Our key step from the overlapping triangles is that AB, the side shared by both, is congruent to AB by the reflexive property. That means that triangle ABC is congruent to ABD by angle side angle. The big angle, the reflexive side, and the small angle that we were given. Once we know that the triangles are congruent, we can prove angle C congruent to angle D by CP/CTC. Okay, that's a pretty common diagram that we'll see in the book. But this one on the right is also a really common diagram. And you'll see that there's actually two pairs of overlapping triangles. We have triangle VZX, which overlaps triangle VWY on the top. Or we could look at triangle WXY overlapping ZXY on the bottom. Now, if you have trouble seeing those, you can separate them, which is what I suggest you do if you're having trouble with any of these proofs. Simply separate them, keeping in mind the part of the triangle that is reflexive and common to both. So in these two triangles in the bottom, which side is common to both? Hopefully you notice that XY is common to both. Which part is common to both of these triangles from the top? Well, hopefully you noticed that angle V is the vertex angle of both of these triangles. So let's see what a proof might look like in a diagram like this. We might be given that VW, this portion of the long side, is congruent to VZ, the portion of the other long side, and that the big side, VX, was congruent to VY. So, could we prove that angle 1 here in the corner is congruent to angle 2? And once again, we would do it by overlapping triangles. we'll take our two givens and the reflexive angle that's common to both triangles, angle V, to prove that triangle VXZ is congruent to VYW. Triangle VXZ congruent to triangle VYW. That will give us angle side angle, and so by CPCTC, angle 1 will be congruent to angle 2. Okay, Ramblers, so as you're going through proofs involving overlapping triangles, take some time to separate the triangles. The step where you're moving them off the diagram and they're not on top of one each other, so that you can see the parts that are congruent in one triangle to the next. But keep in mind that you mark the piece that is reflexive, that it's common to both. Okay, good luck with these, and I'll give you some exercises to work on tomorrow in class.